Hey everyone, this game review is on the game Overland by Finji, and it's available on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and on mobile, specifically Apple Arcade only. Now, to start off, I played this game on PC, but personally, I think that it would be a much better game to play on mobile. And not to get too deep into it, but I would say that that's because the game mechanics is really just turn-based that works perfectly for mobile games. Now, I'm a bit conflicted on whether I would actually recommend this game or not, as Overland is both good and bad in its own ways. So for those of you that don't know, Overland is a turn-based strategy game, and every move that you make will have some great significance into the outcome of the game. However, this is also its downfall. While you do have the ability to undo an action, it isn't always certain, and while playing the game, I actually never really figured out which moves I would be able to undo and which I would have to take a big risk doing. And those moves that were really risky usually snowballed into a death and having to restart the level, which is quite unpleasant. So upon failing, which essentially is just every person on your team dying, you're given the option to restart or just end the game there. The restart wasn't very clear either from my experience. If you escape a section with a car, with enough gas of course, you essentially pass the level. However, there are certain levels where you have no choice but to abandon your car, which will lead to harder and harder levels until you can manage to escape with a car, and that just was extremely frustrating. Now, I do understand that you do need a car to travel and make your way from east to west, but the randomness of each level wasn't very fun. Okay, so I think we should move on to the pros of the game, since I've kind of been bashing on it for all this time so far. And one thing to remember is how I said earlier that this was a strategy game, and that's kind of part of the reason why I was so conflicted on whether the game was actually good or bad. The fact that this is a survival apocalyptic turn-based strategy game and basically puts your survival abilities to the test is why I personally think the game is, in its own way, kind of genius. Now, you're punished over the small choices you make, and that's what makes it kind of interesting, because the game really does give you plenty of choices, whether it's to pick up possible weapons, search objects such as cars, garbage bins, containers, and every other thing that you can basically search while in game, and having to make these choices all while having to worry about creatures that are just inching closer and closer towards you and blocking your escape path. There was also one level that I experienced where I had the option to kill someone and loot them or ask them to join our crew, and now these scenarios and the difficulty aspect of the game is what I think really makes this game good, or well, interesting. And if you look at the cons as a pro and ignore the frustration that you kind of gain while progressing through the levels, you really kind of start to see what this game is all about. You get very far in the journey, you have to trek from east to west, so I'm sure there's still plenty of other scenarios and much harder levels to overcome. This game is really meant to play over and over again, as each new experience is just completely random, and restarting a level and making a different move would always result in a different outcome. So while I had a lot of bad to say about this game to start with, I think it really is a game worth playing. That's just in my opinion, of course. So just prepared for a lot of frustrations and time spent into the game, as you're gonna be constantly trying to learn every single possible move that you would make. I guess it is a strategy game overall. Now, as a final thought, this also isn't a game for everyone, so just do keep that in mind. And personally, it wasn't my style, but again, I am still recommending it, as it is a good game when you really to dig into it. But if you're the type of person that just enjoys apocalyptic survival genre, then this is definitely for you. And again, you can find this game on Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and on Apple Arcade. It isn't a very new game, and it's been around for quite some time now. It doesn't have the best rating, and I can see why. Anyways, thank you all for watching my review on the Overland game, and if you really did enjoy this video, please do smash the thumbs up button, and if you really didn't like anything, or if I missed something important, crucial, please leave it as a comment below.